Hello and welcome to the weekly crypto review. My name is Bowen. I'm one of the analysts from Pure Investments coming out with the next weekly crypto review, and this is an exciting, very exciting weekly crypto review. I'm sorry it took until today to get out with it, but let me tell you, it is worth the wait given the exciting news I have. So, normally I would start here or in our global charts, but I'm just going to head over right with the exciting news, Bitcoin. Bitcoin is having some exciting stuff going on. So, let's talk about it. This green candle and this green volume bar is really what I'm referring to. Overall, I was going to show you a weekly view, but I'm doing it in a second. Overall, I just wanted to talk about, we have had this general downtrend. This is not a resistance line. As you can see, I'm cutting through, as you can see right here, I'm cutting through some of the lines. But in general, Bitcoin has been in this sort of downtrend resistance, with this uptrend right here. So you can see I connected these two bottoms, and Bitcoin's really been struggling, reaching this kind of end of this triangle, deciding where it was going to go. You can see we actually went below this line right here, which I'll change colors so that it's easier to see. That makes it much harder to see. Yellow is good. So you can see by this orange downtrend line here that we actually went below our trending line, but we then held on the $6,800 support line, which is really a huge support line from the history. Hit the bottom, and we didn't quite hit our bottom support line of 6,300. And we have kind of been going in this, again, like I said, kind of this downtrend. And the most recent downtrend that I actually have marked out right here is this one, with a high of 11,000, and then we went all the way down. As you can see, we tested breakout here and then kind of entered actually a bear pennant. This was all posted live in our Discord and premium section. Make sure to check that out. The link is going to be in the description below. But as you can see, we kind of dropped down into what some were calling a bear pennant because it did come from above. Therefore, it is a bear pennant, but I kind of saw it also as a symmetrical triangle. This was really up to opinion, and I really did mark out that there was two options that we were going to have here, and if we hit breakout, this would be extremely good and bullish for Bitcoin. If we hit breakout downwards, this would be bad. This is very exciting. We broke out upwards, and not only did we break out upwards, we broke out in the 4 hour. Let's check on the 1 hour. In the 1 hour even, we broke out. As you can see, we kind of, we're testing it. Boom, broke right out over the resistance line here, broke through our long-term downtrend line, and then broke through our high resistance line of 7,500. As you can see, we had a slight flag here. Now we are just skyrocketing. Is this sustainable? No, it'll slow down. But also look at that volume bar. Wow, that's gorgeous. But what I really wanted to talk about is that Bitcoin is back, baby. We have reverse direction officially. This is the marking of a new market cycle. This was one, I would pretty much say, up until right here was one market cycle, starting maybe, I think, at this boom, honestly, starting at the boom of 3,000, when Bitcoin started to gain a lot of popularity. That was when, this has been one market cycle. We had a huge, massive exponential run up, and then we went down accordingly, rightfully so. If we look at it in a log graph, we can see we have been going up so exponentially that even a log graph can't correctly map it. So I would say probably around, you could even argue 1,000, that this has been one market cycle, and you can see we have a huge amount of buys getting from the 900 to the 3,000 range. A huge amount of volume here, and a huge amount of volume obviously bringing it up from the 5,000 to the $20,000 range. And we are now seeing, the end of the downtrend. The downtrend was essential to have Bitcoin stay realistic as a currency. If Bitcoin had continued that growth, that really would have been unsustainable. You can see in this sort of graph, we are seeing it was kind of a slight parabolic uptrend here. Let me find my, sorry, I'm looking in the wrong spot. Let me find my curve. Right here, we were seeing it was not sustainable, the growth that we were having. And this right here is not realistic to expect and continue. Whereas this right here was quite good. This is quite realistic. We were staying in this line. We were staying continual. But then all of a sudden, boom, we just took off. And the fact is, on a log graph, that should not happen. The fact that we're kind of coming back and re-stabilizing after this drop is a really good sign for Bitcoin as a whole. This is very exciting news. Now, am I saying that because of the start of the market trend, we're now bullish and everything is going to go huge? No, but I am again generally bullish on Bitcoin. Like I said a few videos back, I really am. And is this possible right here again? I think so. But I think because we held and broke through this line, as long as we keep this orange support line going, I think Bitcoin is back and I think it's strong. This is huge news for Bitcoin. Now going back because that's some of the most exciting news that's going on right now. Let's look at the market as a whole because I think it's really important to do. So we have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Bitcoin Cash, and Litecoin as our top 5, with the market cap slowly returning, which I'll talk about. I'll talk about that right now, actually. We hit an all-time low for a while, that is, with a low of around 250 or so. There it is, 250 or so $billion as an overall market capitalization, which is the lowest we've had in a long time. So since before the run-up, since before the massive run-up. So it makes sense that the price we're at in terms of Bitcoin market cap is the same price that is the same market cap the overall market is at. Sorry, let me say that in a better way. So in between November and December, we had the same market cap we have now. And between November and December, the price of Bitcoin is pretty much the exact same it was then. So you see why this makes perfect sense and why this run-up was unsustainable. This steady growth is what we really should be having. This graph looks just like Bitcoin's graph, and the thing is, the steady market growth is what makes sense. We'll eventually slow down, but it should make sense for cryptocurrencies. Again, I still think a $1 trillion market cap to a $4 trillion market cap by the end of 2018 is not only realistic, I think it's very achievable. And of course, we can look at this in the total market cap excluding Bitcoin. You can see the graph looks almost identical, except this had even more of a run-up. But again, we're seeing it come back from a low of, I think, 130. I could be underestimating. It could be 136 here. 136 billion, all the way up to 177 billion, which is really good news. And let's look at the total market cap dominance. This is what's really interesting is, even though we're seeing Bitcoin's massive run-up, we are also seeing run-up in a lot of other cryptos, which I'm going to cover in just 1 minute. But this massive run-up in other cryptos, you can see here is, so here's our 1-year chart, same as these last two, but I'm going to narrow it in a lot more to year to day. So that's just since just like this graph is shown, since 2018. So since right here, you can see we've had a drop-off, slight bump up, drop-off, growth, right? And you can see even with all of the price action changing, what's happened with Bitcoin is Bitcoin dominance has been growing until lately. We've actually now seen it fall from a high of 45%, or I think it was at 46%. Am I making that up? It was close. 45.5% to a low now of 42%, or 42.5%. And what we've been seeing, as I covered in my last video, is the growth of others. We had it separate from Ethereum from 18. I think last video was around 20 or so. I can't quite remember. But now we're seeing a huge growth of all the way at 20, almost 23%, which is really huge. It's showing that other cryptocurrencies in crypto space are coming out and that Bitcoin is not going to be the king forever. Bitcoin is currently the controller of the rest of the price, but is not the king. We're also seeing something else interesting. Here I have, by the way, our top 3 cryptos, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Ripple, based off of market cap, and others listed because they are the most dominant in market capitalization. But we're seeing something interesting, which is Ripple coming up again. Ripple having its big comeback, which makes sense because just like every other crypto, as Bitcoin comes, it's been shooting, which I'll get into in just a minute once again. And we're actually seeing, again, something interesting with Bitcoin is Ethereum had a little bit of growth lately. We were at a low of, I think, around 14.2, 14.4. And up to 15.4, which is, pretty good growth. But let's see how this goes, because the flippening still is a possibility, but it's just a matter of when. If you want to look at it stacked, you'll see the exact same thing I was just talking about, which is pretty much the steady growth in Bitcoin kind of remaining a little bit stagnant. But here, it's not a good way to view Bitcoin, because you can see Bitcoin's been going down dominance, but it looks stagnant here, which is why I look at it overlapping. Also, CoinMarketCap now has these fun new features. Thanks, CoinMarketCap. So going back to Bitcoin, we're seeing this growth here, and I think that's really amazing for the whole market as a whole. And just looking at this, you can see the growth is amazing. To say unsustainable and will we have a pullback? Well, it's Bitcoin, so it's really hard to say. You know, people thought we were going to have a pullback the entire run up to $20,000, and there wasn't one. People said, "Oh yeah, okay, pullback right here." No, pullback right here. No. So we'll really see in the end. But next let's look at Ethereum, our number 2 market cap crypto, and Ethereum, as you can see, is doing even better than Bitcoin is. It's growing even faster relative to Bitcoin, which is good because it was really dropping quite low. And as you can see, we hit right here. We hit a pretty strong resistance point, having just the high here, little flag here, little flag here, high here, and a flag here. And we're bouncing off of that 2.062 Bitcoin. I think Ethereum has some real potential here. As you can see, it's been much higher than it is now. And this this downtrend line, if this is broken, we could see some massive growth. Get out of my way. There we go. We could see some massive growth for Ethereum, but I think seeing Ethereum grow all the way to this orange line the next period of maybe 2 months, could be as a matter of September. I think that is very possible. Yeah, I think that's very possible to see happen. Again, Ethereum I think is huge. One interesting thing though is Bitcoin to have this massive spike lately also had a massive volume spike. So it's been going down with massive volume, and now it's we have the biggest green spike we have seen since the run up to 20K. The run up that happened from 13,000 or yeah, I think it was around 13.5 thousand all the way to 17,000. But Ethereum, we're still seeing low volume, which is very interesting. It's showing not a lot of confidence in Ethereum as a whole, not a lot of excitement, but a lot of confidence. The confidence being the price growing, so people are excited on it. People are confident in it, sorry, but people are not excited about it because the volume is not there. So we'll see how that plays out. Next up, let's check out Ripple. And like I said, Ripple's growing, just like a lot of cryptos. We're seeing a similar volume spike in Ripple as we saw in Bitcoin, which makes sense. And we're seeing the price go up. We are seeing pretty consistently in the market at least 10% gains. So here we have 12%. But we're seeing pretty much 10% gains everywhere in the market. And of course, as I presented in my last video, a lot of graphs are looking very similar to this. This growth from December to 2018, slow, steady bleed, and now we're seeing a comeback. And let's talk about the exception to that rule, Bitcoin Cash. If you've seen my videos before, you know my opinion on Bitcoin Cash is not the kindest. I'm not a very big Bitcoin Cash fan. And you can see as Bitcoin had its massive green spike, Bitcoin Cash is having this red spike, which makes sense. It kind of moves inverse to Bitcoin. Well, not in this example. It grew up with Bitcoin and then has been bleeding. But as Bitcoin grows, Bitcoin Cash falls. I do think Bitcoin Cash will slowly fall out of our top 5. I think it'll then fall out of our top 10. I think it'll then fall more. That is my opinion. I don't even want to cover Bitcoin Cash anymore. I think as Bitcoin grows, Bitcoin Cash is going to fall. And then I think if Bitcoin falls, I think Bitcoin Cash will also fall. Yeah. To continue that, let's go over to Litecoin. Now, this is something that surprised me, to be quite honest. We are seeing a big red volume candle on Litecoin. Litecoin I expected to grow with Bitcoin, Bitcoin Silver. Now, something a lot of people have said to me, which I do agree with, but I'm tentative to say with surety, is that, well, Litecoin usually follows a little bit after Bitcoin. Well, I hear that, and that's totally possible. If you look at it in a US dollar graph, let me pull that up so I can talk as it's there. We are seeing Litecoin grow. We're seeing it grow a lot less than Bitcoin. And the reason why this is weird to me is, as you can see, Litecoin, there we go. Litecoin follows very directly with Bitcoin. But you can see here Litecoin grew and Bitcoin grew with it, but Litecoin really spiked and Bitcoin spiked a lot less. So the fact that Bitcoin is spiking and Litecoin isn't makes me think Litecoin actually might be having a run-up quite soon. But that is, none of this is investment advice, as I said in the description. Please read the disclaimer below. But Litecoin, is doing something very interesting, which is, we are seeing growth, but it's a lot slower than what was expected. And I think this will be very interesting to see how this plays out for the market. Litecoin Pay really did not affect Litecoin that much around here. I mean, it did affect it, but Litecoin's still here, and it's still relatively strong at $130. Still way above the price it was in the beginning of 2017. What is it, $3? Yeah, $4. Sorry, there it is. $4. We are still hugely above it in terms of percentage gains. But what will we see in 2018? Again, if the market cap grows to $4 trillion, $1 trillion, that's tripled to 12, 15, maximum 15 times the current market capitalization, or 14 times the current market capitalization. So we'll really see what happens, but I think Litecoin will will turn around just like Ripple is, just like Ethereum is. And let's jump into our number 6 player. EOS, we've been seeing some huge gain from lately. Really huge gains. As I showed in my last video, EOS has shared the same graph as everybody else. December, massive run up, but then the difference is EOS in 2018, instead of falling, bleeding like for everybody else, grew all the way until February, and then it had its bleed. And now it's coming back. And we had this massive, what was it? Sorry, I can't remember off the top of my head. 120% run up here. Wow, it's always in the way. 120% of run up here, and we're finally seeing it flag down again. And if you look here, you know, we've already seen it flag a few times. We saw it flag here, we saw it flag here, and we saw it flag here. And we're now seeing the biggest green candle followed by, obviously, the biggest red, because what comes up must come down. What I find very interesting is this flag that we're having down here, similar to these flags, is instead of it being a traditional flag where the price goes up, and then it goes down, over, down, over, down, up. We are actually seeing it just go up, kind of bleed down like this, and then spike again, which is much less traditional when looking at graphs. So, you know, looking at the 3 hour just to see, again, we kind of had this slow bleed, dramatic drop off, but slow bleed, and then here, we're not seeing the slow bleed. So this does make me think that EOS will actually be doing a flag, unlike these other times, finding support right here, and maybe doing a little something like this. But this is just off the top sort of technical analysis. But EOS, just like our other cryptos, I do think we'll see growth. Right now, EOS is still being boosted off of hype rather than actually product, which I think is very strange when you have other infrastructure cryptos like, you know, NEO or ADA or Lambda. We're seeing EOS have this sort of massive growth, which is really interesting to me. So we'll see if the hype continues, and if the hype falls down, EOS will fall down, because in the end, if product comes through, EOS and Tron will be at the bottom, unless EOS does release something really exciting really soon. Next up, let's talk about Cardano. Speaking of Cardano from a second ago, Cardano, like I said, same with Ripple, is having a minor run-up. We've had around 10%, I believe. 30%. That's way different from 10%. Oh, yeah, I meant from here. We've had, okay, still 20%. We've had, you know, a good 20% run-up ever since Bitcoin has started, and that makes sense. The market is reversing. We are seeing the same thing. Oh, and by the way, I am just going through the list here. Litecoin, EOS, Cardano, Stellar, because these are our main market movers right now. These are where the majority of the market capitalization, the overall amount of money in crypto comes from. You know, Bitcoin is the majority of it. Ethereum, Ripple, you know, our top 3 contain the majority of it. But then our top 10 contain the vast majority. So you're seeing this sort of graph in Cardano. Similar sort of graph in Stellar Lumens. The difference is it hasn't taken off yet, which leads me to believe, yes, that it will. Next up is NEO, which has taken off. So again, we're kind of seeing either graphs starting to stagnate and turn, or graphs turning, meaning if it hasn't turned, it will. Or at least in my opinion, in my thinking, it will. And we're seeing this, which is really awfully exciting for the market. You know, here again, 30% growth, just like Cardano right here. So we're finally seeing some good turnarounds. In terms of the market as a whole, if you look at our top 100 cryptos change, we are not having, well, ignore Tether, because Tether literally doesn't count, but we have not had anything in the red, which is, you know, we haven't seen a day like this in a while. So this is really exciting. If you look at our next 100 as well, once my internet loads, there we go. Once my internet comes, you know, we're really just not seeing red, which is so exciting. I believe it's page 3 when I saw my first red crypto. I think there's 2 of them, if I remember correctly. 3. Okay, 4 now. It's because I just checked. But, you know, we are seeing, now we're down to HTML coin in 300 place, which, you know, with a $21 million market cap, yeah, which is really doesn't. Bitcoin, Atom, and Era, so, you know, not exactly the best cryptos out there. These are the ones that are falling, but everything else is growing with this really huge and quite rare see, you know, and we're back to kind of looking at a very similar green market as the one we saw right here. Is it sustainable? Not the way it was here, but is this sustainable? We'll see. So it's too early to tell exactly. By the time the video has been posted and edited, once our editing crew has gone through it, you know, we're really going to have seen even more movement. But, you know, at the moment, since I even started this video, Bitcoin has grown from here to here. I know that's probably only 0.2% growth, but, you know, Bitcoin doing that, okay, I was wrong, 0.6% growth. Bitcoin doing that in, you know, 20 minutes is huge for Bitcoin. So yeah, we're seeing a really good day in the crypto space. You know, all of this green growth is really huge. We're seeing things like Binance Coin come back really strong, which is really good for Binance as an exchange. Which this was one of our major posts that the founder of one of the founders of Pure posted, Miles posted about, which, you know, really got him some really great gains. You know, buying some around here, and, you know, carrying it through. It's been good. So let's keep an eye on Bitcoin. Let's stay excited because Bitcoin is back, and that's exciting. If you liked the video, please leave a thumbs up or a comment. If you have anything you want to say, I'd love to hear it. Just post it down in the comments below. Make sure to check out our Discord and join the premium section if you want to talk to me one-on-one. I will be there. Again, my name is Bowen. Check us out on Reddit. Give us a thumbs up on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter and all that good jazz. Until next time, folks, have a great day.